Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session for a client that deep down didn't really feel good enough. And it's such a pervasive, common issue, and yet so destructive. All the way up until my mid-20s, I really had a deep conviction that that was true for me. And many of the clients that I work with also believe that somehow they're not good enough. But what's interesting is that these are normally the people that work harder, improve themselves more kind, caring, or compassionate than the average person. Because actually that feeling of not being good enough propels them to do good things and to become better, to work harder, study more, all this kind of things. The irony is that quite often the people that believe that deep down they're not good enough, if you were to put their characteristics on a normal distribution curve, they're probably going to be in the top 5 or 10% of people, pretty much based on any metric. They're certainly not the psychopaths and sociopaths and narcissists of the world, because those people have very elevated, high sense of self-worth and, wouldn't even question whether or not they're good enough. They quite often have a superiority complex. So quite often the people that don't believe they're good enough actually, paradoxically, are the very best people that exist. The problem is that it can create a self-fulfilling prophecy. And this was the case with this particular client, that by them believing that they weren't good enough to be in a relationship with the caliber of person they wanted to be. And quite often there is criteria set to be good enough that is never winnable. So it tends to be things like to be slimmer, to be more active, to be better. And a lot of these things, they're not definable goals. It's just arbitrary, ambiguous, moving targets that you can never actually get to that point. And that's why a lot of people that don't believe they're good enough are very frustrated. And they're in a state of almost like a waiting room of life. They're waiting to meet this kind of weird criteria so that when they do, then it will be enough, then it will be okay. And of course, that can feel very frustrating and almost like you're missing out on life, because a lot of the time you are. You're waiting to get to that point of being good enough, and in the meantime, life is passing you by. So this deals with that specific thing. It uses elements of regression and almost inner child work as well, to go back to the point where this belief of not being good enough was created, and to introduce a different belief of being not just more than good enough, but being exceptional, being amazing. And one of the clues to not feeling good enough is that there is a reluctance to acknowledge this idea of being amazing or incredible. It makes them feel very awkward because it's so alien to someone that doesn't feel good enough. So if you're hearing that and you couldn't say out loud to someone, I'm amazing, I'm awesome, in a genuine way without any kind of sarcastic tonality, it's highly likely that you have a belief that you're not good enough or you're not worthy. So this session was created to deal with that specific problem, but at the same time, it was created for an individual, and some of the references might not fully translate to you. So if you are interested in doing a session to give you not just a concept, but a deep conviction of being worthy and good enough, and that can be life-changing, there will be a link in the show notes that you can schedule a completely free 30-minute consultation call to explore working with me. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow any feelings of tension, stress, or worries to feel like they're melting away, or evaporating, or just disappearing into nothingness. And feel how good it feels to breathe out any feeling of tension or stress, and then breathing in a wonderful feeling of calm, resourceful relaxation. I want you to scan your body for any clues of tension, particularly around the forehead, eyebrows, jaw, or neck. As you breathe in, give permission to just let go. As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to imagine how it would feel to float back in time. With all of your current knowledge, I want you to float back in time to see yourself as a small child at a point where you were taught to not quite feel good enough. Maybe you can see a parent talking to you in a certain way, a face of disappointment, dissatisfied with who you were or how you were. And just observe. Notice the contrast of the people that didn't see you as good enough with those people that put you on a pedestal, treated you like you were magical or royalty. I want you to get a sense that lots of seeds were planted in your mind as a child, but not all of them took root. And what if one of those beliefs that took root as a child was the belief that you weren't good enough, that you had to be better, do better? I want you to follow that timeline and see that there was an advantage to it. Maybe that feeling of not being enough led you to higher levels of empathy, a caring nature, a hard-working nature. Just observe as that child got older and older, and that cloud of not being enough had a silver lining. Diligence, responsibility, a work ethic, kindness and compassion. But I want you to see someone always looking for something else. As you breathe in and breathe out and just observe, I want you to see that the clues of someone not feeling enough is an obsession with the validation, the opinions, the judgment of other people. So follow that child through teenagerhood, becoming an adult. And if you can see occasions where the opinions, the actions, the judgments of other people had a powerful impact on the emotional state of you back then, let me know by nodding your head. Because when you don't feel good enough, you're looking for evidence of growth and improvement, but also there is a fear of vulnerability, a sensitivity to anything that may show that deepest fear of not being enough. I want you to visit memories where you were criticized, rejected, sidelined. And you can tell by looking at your facial expressions and body language that it hurt. I want you to see the pain. But what if the pain was just fruit on a tree where the seed was planted in your childhood? And let's call it the tree of unworthiness. What if for years now you've been holding on to an idea that you're not good enough that was never true? I want you to go all the way back to when that very first seed was planted, to see that young version of you that believed deep down that they were good enough before the seed of unworthiness was planted. And when you're back at that memory, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. Breathe in and breathe out. And I want you to imagine meeting that younger version of you when they're just a child. Maybe in their bedroom, or in a garden, or in a playground, somewhere they feel safe. And as you breathe in and breathe in, I want you to get a sense that you're about to have a conversation with them. They can see you at your current age, you can see them at that age. And I want you to tell them that consciously or unconsciously, other people in the world will try and make them not feel worthy. Tell them this is a seed that will not take root. Tell them they are good enough, capable, caring, compassionate, diligent, hardworking. Tell them that not only are they good enough, they are in the top 5 or 10% of humans that exist. Their qualities, characteristics, way of thinking, their kindness means they are more than good enough. And then switch places. Imagine being the child at that age and hearing the same words from you as an adult, but hearing it as a young, vulnerable child. Hearing that they are loved, worthy, destined for incredible things. They are desirable, beautiful. Hear it all. And imagine many seeds being planted deep in your subconscious mind, there at that young, vulnerable age. And what's interesting is when a seed takes root of one belief, there is no space for the opposite beliefs to take root. So stay in that child's body, go forward through that timeline to a moment where a parent tried to make you feel not good enough. And notice you're in a dialogue, your expressions rejecting that idea. You perceive it as simply their opinion, words they are saying, but not true for you. You believe you are good enough, worthy, capable. Imagine accepting the idea at that young age. Not only are you good enough, you're more than good enough. You are amazing, incredible, and believe it to be absolutely true. I want you to fast forward years and years, but holding on to that belief that you are good enough, you are worthy, you are the most desirable thing for someone. And anyone that doesn't see that value is an issue for them and not you. And you can want to improve yourself, not because it's necessary, but because it's desirable and you feel good when you do good things. I want you to see activity as a gift of self-love from you to you. That when you eat nutritious, healthy, delicious foods, that is an act of self-love also. You are now doing things for you as an act of kindness, not a requirement in order to be worthy. So breathe in and breathe out. And then just observe you in the future, maybe in a relationship or a date. And I want you to see an attempt at rejection that is simply brushed off by that confident, worthy version of you. In the past, that would have been a nightmare, but see a facial expression of someone being unfazed, unbothered, couldn't care less. Almost you can read their mind. No problem, your loss. And if your unconscious mind feels that you are updating a core belief as to your worthiness, let me know by nodding your head. Knowing you could always go back to a cycle of low confidence and self-esteem whenever you choose to believe you're unworthy. But why would you choose such a thing if you feel that you are immune to rejection, to judgment? You know who you are. How can anyone make a judgment on you unless they really know you? And even then, they can only see you through the filter of their own experience. So breathe in and breathe out as you open your mind to new ideas about how to think. You are enough. Knowing your worth is intrinsic and unchanging. Imagine looking yourself in a reflection, maybe a mirror, maybe a shop window, with a deep conviction that you are attractive, seeing yourself through a lens of appreciation and acceptance. You start to see all of your positive qualities whenever you look at yourself in the reflection. Your confidence is a shield, making you immune to the concept of rejection that you no longer subscribe to. Any disappointment is just a clue to what you value most. Disappointment is a teacher, and you value the lessons. Give yourself permission to like yourself exactly as you are, while simultaneously nurturing a desire to grow and improve. You can be more active, healthier, not to become good enough, but to feel strong and vibrant. And your attractiveness is in your unique qualities and genuine expressions, because you trust in your inherent worth. And someone else's opinions or decisions does not change that inherent worth. Notice the progress. celebrate every step forward, particularly in the kindness, compassion, the positive words you now find yourself speaking to yourself, complimenting yourself, building yourself up. You are your own best cheerleader. Any setbacks are just opportunities to strengthen your resilience and character. You are enough, exactly as you are in every moment. And that belief that you are enough becomes a foundation to become even better. You'll find yourself engaging in activities that nurture your body, mind, and spirit, enhancing your self-image. And you can remind yourself that being enough is just a state of mind. Your self-image is improving daily. Notice how much easier it's going to be to accept compliments gracefully. No need to bat them away. You can be grateful for compliments. You can expect good things to happen to you because you deserve it. And you can set personal goals that align with your values. There is no need to wait until you're ready. You are ready just as you are right now. Any perceptions of waiting are just evidence of your old belief. So every time you act as if you are good enough, you become good enough. If you're willing to give permission to be good enough with immediate effect, to celebrate your qualities, to expect good things, to appreciate when good things happen, and be willing to roll the dice to increase the probability of all those wonderful things you desire, let me know by nodding your head. And in doing so, that is evidence that you are already enough. Feel that you have broken free of the shackles of unworthiness. Replace the tree of unworthiness with a tree of confidence, self-esteem, the tree of being enough. And all of the fruits from that tree will be the incredible experiences in your future. They're a natural side effect of just acknowledging you are enough. Breathe in and breathe out. Return to the present moment, taking all these new ideas and beliefs with you. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, connect fully in the present moment as I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.